In the last video, we have created this fixture. Let's use it. So to use it, we have to create a new file over here for this books repository. Let's use this book repository name and create a new folder because we have to follow the same structure. So we are having this repositories, and let's just copy this name, create a new folder over here. So right click, add a new directory. This is going to be repositories, and the name of my repository is this book repository. Here right click, add, and I'm going to add a new class. This is going to be book repository tests. Okay, so this is the test that I have. Okay, now we have to use that fixture over here. How do we do it? So we have to use, there is a class IClassFixture, this one. Inside this class fixture, we have to use that name, library DbContext fixture. Create a private field or property over here to store the instance of that DbContext, and let's import the namespace. So this is the fixture that we are having, but we don't need the fixture. We need the actual DbContext, and for that, let's just change this fixture to the DbContext. And how do we get it? Fixture dot DbContext. That's how we will get it. Let's just use the proper name so that this will work. This is the DbContext I'm having, and this is the DbContext at this place also. Okay, now we have the DbContext class. Now we also have to create the instance for our repository class, which is this book repository. This is the class that we have to use. Let's create the instance for that also. So I'm using this iBook repository interface, and I have created the instance of this book repository that we are going to use over here, and we are passing this DbContext. So the dependency has been resolved successfully. Now we have to write a unit test case for first method, which is going to be get all books. This is the simplest one. We don't have to pass any parameter, so maybe we can use this one first. Okay, we are passing the context. So from the context dot books, we will get the list of the books, and how many books are there that we have already set up in this DB initializer. So if I click on this one, you will notice that there are few books. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books are there. Okay, let's just do the assert over here. So assert, this is the 5 at this place. That's it. This is one of the simplest unit test case, and let's just run it. See what will happen now. You can notice that this unit test case is passed. If you will put a debugger at this place and just debug this one, at this place you can notice that from this all books we are getting 5 books. These are the books that we have inserted by using our dummy data, and that is what I'm having. So it is successful now. Now we can write the unit test case for our more methods. Let's say we are writing this get book by ID async method. So let's just copy it, go back over here and write another unit test case. So here I'm writing this fact, and at this place make sure you are passing the ID that exists in that database. If you are passing some ID that does not exist in the database, then you will not get anything in the output. Then make sure the assert should be like that. You know what? That is also a valid unit test case. Suppose in your database, someone is going to fetch the data with an ID that doesn't exist over there. So that is also a valid case. Then in that scenario, you must also handle it. So what we are doing, assert that the ID of the book must be this, or if you note the ID, if you want to check some title also, then you can do that. So for the this last book, let's say this is my domain driven design. This is also something that you can use. Okay, the assert is the part that we have already covered in so many previous videos. Now let's talk about one interesting concept over here. Every time we run these unit test cases over here, what is happening? First of all, the instance of this fixture class is getting created. Once it is done, then the instance of this book repository test class is getting created. The same fixture is being shared in both the instances, because here we are having 2 unit test cases. So the instance of this book repository will be created twice. The instance of the fixture class will be created once per class. Once per class. Who will decide the per class? This interface that we are using over here, IClassFixture. So it means for this file, I'm talking about this specific file. For this specific file, the instance of this fixture DbContext class will be created once, and the instance of this book repository class will be created equal to the number of unit test cases that we have. That same instance will be shared in all the unit test cases of this file. Now, I hope this logic is clear how it is working in one single file. But what will happen if you are having multiple repository file? Over there also you have to use the same DbContext. Then what will happen? If you are using this IClassFixture, then the instance of this DbContext fixture class is created per file. So let's say you have two repository file, then there will be two instances of this library DbContext fixture. One instance will be shared with the first file and second one will be shared with the second file. Again, based on the number of unit test cases, the instance of this test file will be created. How do we handle that? There is again one more interface given by this xUnit IClassFixture that we will learn in the next video. But for now, think that this IClassFixture is per class. The instance of this DbContext will be created once per class. Now, in this DbContext class, you will notice that we are writing this test library database. Okay. So sometime what will happen, suppose we are using that IClassFixture that I was talking about, and you are using one database name, okay, in all the unit test cases. You are running all these unit test cases in parallel. What will happen? One of the unit test cases is inserting the data, second one is deleting the data, third one is fetching the data. So the actual number of records will be different in your database. This is a very common problem. How do you fix that? So first, you can append some GUID at this place so that for each instance, a new name of the database will be created for you. So we have resolved the problem for multiple files. But what if the same file is also conflicting all these things? Okay, I hope you are getting the concept. In the same file, let's say, in this file, I have two unit test cases. This is inserting the data. This is also inserting the data. Third one is deleting the data. So by the time I am getting the execution of this line, the third one has deleted some records from the database. So the count will mismatch. How do we handle that? So we have to move this entire part to some private method so that we can initialize the database per unit test case. This is the main problem that most of the time people will face. And if they are not able to resolve it, then they will say that, hey, this is a flaky unit test case and we'll just leave it. Sometime it works, sometime it doesn't work. Why sometime it works? Because we are running in parallel. If there is a class, sometime the class will be there, sometime will not. So sometime your unit test case will pass, sometime the unit test case will not pass. I hope this concept is clear. I know this is very complex concept. Please rewatch this video and listen to me what I'm talking about very, very carefully. Once you will understand how the unit test case is working on this concept is extremely easy. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. In the next video, I will be talking about that IClassFixture. Thank you.